You're comfortable with finding the probabilities for binomial distribution by hand and using factorial and combination and kind of plugging and chugging and putting all that into your calculator. But once you understand that, then I'd encourage you to go to Excel and utilize the function Binom.DIST, which is just binomial distribution, to calculate this problem. So let's just walk through the problem here. We're doing free throw shooting. We've got a probability of success of 95%. We're gonna do 10 trials, so our N is 10. So far we know that we know a few things that we're gonna need for our function here. So we know that trials is equal to 10, and we know that our probability sub S, which is just probability of success, is 0.95. So the other components, the number of successes and the cumulative part, those are variable depending on the problem that we're doing. So let's just build our function based off of these cells so we can just plug and chug. So I'm going to make a little formula here. So we're going to do our binomial.dist function. So I'm going to say this is equal to binom.dist, and we're going to say the number of successes is going to come from this cell Q8, and I always want it to come from that Q8, so I'm going to keep my dollar signs in here so that stays the same. The number of trials is always going to be the same, this cell Q6, and then my probability of success is always going to come from the same cell. It's going to come from this Q7. And then my cumulative is going to be true or false if we want it to be cumulative or not, and that we're just going to grab from this cell Q9. Okay, so now we've got our binomial distribution calculation going, and we can plug in our information. So if we want to know the probability that the player made all 10 free throws, that's going to be number of successes equal to 10. So we're going to put 10 here. So we only want exactly 10 free throws. So in this case, we want a cumulative of false, because we only want 10. We don't want any other included. In this case, it doesn't matter because we have the highest number, but notice if we put cumulative equals true here, we get, interesting, 10. I'll have to do a little research here. I would think, okay, I think that includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yep, it does. So that's includes all the possibilities, so our probability is 1. Okay, I misspoke there for a little bit, but so we don't want this to be cumulative. We only want it to include 10. Okay, so so that's part C, part 1. So now we want the probability that we have 9 free throws. So number of successes is going to be 9. So there's our 315. Okay, so now this part we have a little bit of work to do. This says the probability he made more than 7 free throws. If we put 7 here, that's not going to work very good. That's only going to give us the probability that he made exactly 7 free throws. So we want the probability that he makes exactly 7, not 7, sorry. exactly 8 or 9. So we want the probability that x is strictly greater than 7. Okay, and this is equal to, equals, this is going to equal the probability that x, we're not going to include 7, we're going to include 8, or we're going to include 9, and we're going to include 10. Now, there's a few ways we can do this. We can either do one calculation, or we can do 3 calculations. So I'm going to show you it both ways because I want to use this cumulative portion here to add some things up, basically. So I know that if we have cumulative true, if I put true here, what this value equals is the probability that x equals 1 plus ... well, let's write it all out, plus the probability that x equals 2 plus the probability that x equals 3 plus the probability that x equals 4 plus the probability that x equals 5, blah, 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 blah. Hopefully you can fast forward me here. 6 plus probability of x equals 7. That's what it means when it's saying cumulative. So that's what this gives us. So how does that help us with this problem? With this problem, we're trying to do x greater than 7. So notice, if we were to sum this plus this, we get all our possible successes. That would equal 1 if we sum them all together. So that means that P of x greater than 7 is equal to 1 minus P times P of x greater than or equal to 7, okay? And just notice, less than or equal to 7, okay? Because we want the opposite. So we're gonna swap the direction of our inequality, and then if this is a strict inequality, we include the other one, okay, for the complement rule. So less than or equal to 7. Okay, and then notice this is equal to P of the probability of x less than or equal to 7, because we have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now we almost have it. We know P of x greater than 7 is going to equal greater than 7 is going to equals 1 minus the probability that x is less than or equal to 7, which I get from this cell. And there I have it, right? 98.8%. So that's the same thing that we got. Okay, let me show you the other way. So if I want to not use the complement rule, I can use this sum here, and we're going to get the same calculation. So we're going to do, let's just do a little thing here. Let's do x equals 8. So let's not use that cumulative function. Let's calculate 3 different probabilities and sum them together. So probability of x equals 9, probability x equals 10, okay? So how do we get probability x equals to, let's copy this function here, because I'm just going to change it a little bit. Copy, paste, and probability of 8, I'm just going to change I'm not going to change it up here because I want to leave that for this work that we did up here. So number of successes, my purple is going to change to, my blue is going to change to 8. So I'm just going to change this to 8. So number of successes is 8, trials is still 10, probability of success is 95%, And cumulative, we want to be false. So I'm just going to change that here. So I'm using the same N, the same P. I'm going to change my number of successes and the cumulative to false because I only want 8. I don't want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and so then if I just drag this down here, and now I'm going to write, instead of 8, I'm going to have 9. Oops, why didn't I like that? Inconsistent. Instead of 8, I want 9. I don't know why it doesn't like that, but it's fine. And then instead of 8, I want 10 here. And now I'm going to take the sum of these 3. Woohoo! Same answer, right? So either way works. It kind of depends if you're doing it by hand. If you're doing it by hand, this way is a little bit easier. If you're doing it with Excel, this way is a little bit easier. So hopefully that helps. Oopsies. Let me know if you have questions.